Why are my Medicare supplement rates so high? Well, this is a common question. I hear it a lot. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Hi, this is Bob Vineyard, your Medicare expert with the Georgia Medicare Minute. One of the reasons why, and probably one of the most common reasons why, people become dissatisfied with their plan after they've had it for a couple of years is because they start to get renewals and they look around and they say, well, wait a minute, my rates are a lot higher than everybody else. What happened here? But they probably heard from some people that, well, all the Medicare plans are the same. And just pick the one with the lowest premium, and that's not a problem. And besides that, you can always change during open enrollment. Well, it's true. All of the Medigap plans with the same letter are identical in every way except the premium. The truth is, when it comes to Medigap plans, Medicare supplement, Medigap interchangeable terms like Kleenex and tissue, but when it comes to Medigap plans, you can change those plans at any time. There's nothing magic about open enrollment. But there is often a lot of confusion out there, even among people who have been on Medicare for a number of years. They say, well, it's no big problem. You just change during open enrollment. And they also confuse Medicare with Obamacare, and they say, well, they can't turn you down because your health is poor. And surprise, surprise, the answer is yes, you can be turned down. So you can change your Medigap plan at any time. Underwriting is required. It's a yes-no situation. Either yes, they like you and they'll let you have one of their plans, or the carrier will say no, you got to keep what you got. So that's one of the first problems that people come into, that people get into. They bought from a group insurance carrier that they had for a number of years, and all the doctors take them, and so we'll just go buy from them. And besides, I guess their rates are pretty good. The other thing is, if you decided to go through an agent, you probably bought from the wrong agent. You bought from somebody who sold you a plan that was good for them, maybe not necessarily good for you. What do I mean by that? Some of the carriers, especially the ones that are new to the state of Georgia, some of the carriers come in with a lot of incentive money thrown around. They'll pay bonuses upwards of $150 per application. It's a bounty, really, is what it is. But they'll pay up to $150 per application for agents that put a fair number of business with them. And that's on top of your regular compensation. Of course, you'd never know that. They just say, well, you really ought to buy this plan. It's got good rates and so forth, and so you ought to buy this plan. That's probably the wrong thing to do. It's not probably, it is definitely the wrong thing to do. Unfortunately, there are a lot of agents out there that all they want to do is sell you something and move on to somebody else. They also want to load you up with other products that you may or may not need. Hospital indemnity, cancer plans, life insurance. And, there's nothing wrong with any of these, but if you're not in the market for it, if you don't feel like you need the plan that they're promoting until they talk you into it, well, that is a bad thing. So, what do you need to do? Well, first off, you should have talked to me. And there's a reason why. That's not just a shameless plug there. The reason is, first off, I have been in the health insurance business for over 45 years. I have worked exclusively with Medicare clients for the last 10 years. And I'm on Medicare myself. You're not going to find that combination out there. No matter how many people you talk to, you're just not going to find that kind of combination. And so what I do is I ask a lot of questions. As a matter of fact, I encourage people. Well, you can call me or email me, but I suggest that you call me and let's spend 10 minutes on the phone. Ask me any questions you want, and see if you believe my answers or not. Hopefully you will, because I don't lie to people. I really don't. I mean, I just give people the information that they're looking for, not what I think they want to hear. But give me 10 minutes. Ask me any question, and if you like what you hear, okay, we'll move forward. Sometimes I end up spending 30, 45 minutes on the phone with someone on that very first phone call. And it's not because I'm doing all the talking, it's because they have more questions. And as we move through the process and they learn more and more about Medicare and realize how little they actually know, then that triggers other questions. And I'm always glad to take the questions. I don't sit there looking at the clock. Now, if you talk to a lot of agents out there, especially if they work in a phone bank somewhere where you can hear a lot of noise in the background, there's everybody making their phone calls and phones are ringing and all this kind of stuff. You won't get that here. You get me and that's it. But if you hear a lot of noise in the background, what you're going to find is that they're on the clock. Somebody's watching them, and if they take more than 10 minutes with you, then they can lose their job. So I don't do that. I'm not on the clock. I'm not timing you. You're not limited to however much time that I think you should have. So we just do things move along at a different pace. It's also different from calling the carriers direct. A lot of times people think, I'll go direct to the carrier and I'll cut out the agent, and that way I'll save some money. No, you won't, because what you'll get is the same, you'll get the same plan for the same price as if you went through me or you talked to somebody in one of those phone banks in Kansas City or wherever the heck they are. So you're not saving any money by that. Plus, when you call in to the carrier, it's gonna be automatically answered. You press 1 for English, something you'll never hear when you call me. You press 1 for English, you're routed to a voicemail. You leave a message, somebody will call you back in 3 or 4 days while you're in the shower. I mean, that's just basically the way it works. So what happens? Why are your Medigap rates so high? Could be because you bought the wrong plan initially. It could be because you bought the right plan, but you bought it from the wrong carrier, a carrier that was actually on its way out. And we have a lot of that in Georgia, other states too. We have a lot of that in Georgia. Carriers seem to come in here, they'll stay here for 2 or 3 years, maybe 4 years, and then all of a sudden they disappear. And when that happens, the rates go up. You can still keep your plan as long as you pay your premium, but the rates start to go up and they start to accelerate fairly quickly once that carrier is no longer writing new business here. And it's not just small carriers that you've never heard of. There are a lot of the big carriers that are household names. The agent will tell you, well, this is, you're buying from blank, 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 mutual of this and that, or, big company. And in fact, you're not. You're buying from a subsidiary company. This is a carrier that they put into the Medigap business, and they can take them out of the Medigap business. So we can get into a whole lot of detail. I mean, if you really want to know the ins and outs, I do have another video about why Medigap rate increase history doesn't matter, and you feel free to look at that one. That'll explain a little bit more. But again, there are a lot of reasons why people are become dissatisfied with their plan after they start to get 2 or 3 rate increases, and all of a sudden they realize they're paying a lot more than maybe they should have. But that's okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because give me a call. I'll quote you rates right over the phone. Now, I'm not going to play any games with you or anything like that. Give me your date of birth, your zip, and your county. I'll ask you if you use tobacco or not, and then I'll also ask you if you're in good health. Because if you're not in good health, I'm not going to waste your time. I can pretty much tell from in 3 or 4 minutes if you're going to be able to qualify to change plans or not. And I will give you rates, and I'll answer any questions that you may have. But I do change a fair number of people from year to year, from one plan to the next, from one carrier to another, usually because the carrier they bought from is no longer writing business here. But way much more detail than probably you were interested in getting at this point. So why are your rates so high? Well, we can talk about it. So just give me a call. Again, I'll answer any questions. And if you like what you hear, okay, we'll move forward. If not, we'll part as friends. After all, it's not personal, it's just business. But I call this my offer you can't refuse. You take care. Have a great day.